Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. This podcast is also brought to you by AgDirect. No matter how you buy your ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving Iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by AgDirect. No matter how you buy your ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com. So, got the folks here from AgDirect with me today, and I've got Greg Roberg. And Greg is, I've known Greg for a long time now. Greg, how long have I known you? 5 years, probably 6 years, something like that?
Well, it goes fast, Casey. Ever since you started doing the Moving Iron Summits.
Yeah, that's been 7 years, I guess, yeah. 7 years, I guess. So I've known Greg for a while, and Greg is a great guy, and I love talking with him. He's always got some good stuff to talk about. So we are going to talk about what's going on over at AgDirect today. So, Greg, first off, how you been? And why don't you give a little background on yourself and how you got and what you do with AgDirect?
Okay, well, appreciate that. Thanks, Casey, for having me, and glad to be with everyone today. So I'm a farm boy from northeast Nebraska. Grew up in a little town near Tilden, which is near Norfolk, Nebraska. Most people have heard of Norfolk. I grew up on a farm. We were pretty old school. We had farm mauls and international harvesters, and our 1066 was our new tractor. So that dates me a little.
Yeah.
Farming in my blood. I've been working with equipment dealers since 2000.
Okay.
And so that's 22 years working with equipment dealers. Joined the AgDirect team in summer of 2005. Okay. So that's been a while.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. I love farming. And I love working with dealers and salespeople and farmers, my kind of people. I lead our sales region for the eastern half of the U.S. So I've got a team of 13 scattered across the eastern half that I'm there to help support and do whatever I can to take care of them and take care of dealers and customers.
Right on. Good job.
So that's what I do.
Yep. Okay. So what's going on at AgDirect now? What's some of the stuff happening over there now that everybody should be aware of?
Well, everyone's probably heard about interest rates. It's been in the news a lot, and it's getting a lot of attention because of inflation. Our inflation is higher than 30-some years. And so the question there is do we have inflation because we have supply chain issues as a result of the pandemic? I think that's a no-brainer. But or is it also because the economy is doing really well? So I think that's one of the things people maybe aren't quite sure of. How much is it as a result of the pandemic, and how much of it is just because the economy is going pretty good because we had low interest rates, and generally low interest rates drives the economy. So Fed came out this week and said we're not going to make a change in January, but they meet again around the 7th or 8th of March. They said plan on having an interest rate change. How much? The odds are it'll be 25 basis points, 0.25%. So not a big deal. Now, AgDirect, because we're part of the farm credit system, we get our money to loan out to farmers, and with AgDirect through the dealership, we get our money through the bond market.
Okay.
It's a little bit different than how, say, local banks would get theirs through, savings accounts, checking accounts, CDs, that kind of thing. So the bond market has really taken off, really. Mm-hmm. Our expenses go up. So if you've gotten an AgDirect deal here recently, that's great because the rates have gone up a little bit in January and then even mid-January. Mm-hmm. So we're keeping an eye on that and try to be as competitive as we can. But AgDirect is typically one of the first ones to go down when rates go down, but we also tend to have a little more interest rate pressure when rates go up. So that said, they might make a move 3 to 4 times this year. I would guess it'd be closer to 3, just because it seems like the economy is starting to respond. As we tape this here at the end of January, the stock market has been flat to down. Mm-hmm. We've lost 100 points here in January. So we'll see. I think the Fed will be cautious.
Yep.
But one of the things I'd like to just point out quick with AgDirect is if you're nervous about interest rates, we offer variable, we offer fixed up to 7 years. We also offer a 45-day free rate lock. So what that means is if you're looking at a piece of equipment at your dealership, or even if there's something online at an auction or buying something from your neighbor, private party, you can get your application in, and we'll lock that rate for 45 days, no cost. Okay. So we just get it closed in the first 45 days. If the rates would happen to go down, you'll get the better rate. Yep. So it gives you some flexibility, a little bit of peace of mind. Just get that application in. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, you can do it at your dealer. You also go to AgDirect.com, and we just launched a customer-facing application there where you can get your information in. And if you're an active dealer of AgDirect, we get that application. We will move that over to your dealer dashboard. Right on. And kind of an easy lead, easy referral for our salespeople.
Cool. Well, talk about this, your new AgDirect application a little bit and what's changed there.
Well, the market's changing. Obviously, you see that in your world. Customers, farmers, farming's never been a 9-to-5 gig.
Right, yeah.
It's long hours, and anybody listening knows that. But obviously, we want to make sure that we're taking care of customers, and we live in a 24/7 world. And so we've been developing this for a couple of years. But basically, a customer can go to AgDirect.com, they can fill out an application. It's going to probably take them 7 minutes or less. It doesn't ask for a whole lot of information. And that way, they can go right into our system, and we can give them an approval and get rocking and rolling for them. So one of the things AgDirect really hangs its hat on, Casey, is being simple, fast, and flexible. So we've always tried to push the envelope in the industry of just being a little easier to do business with, a little faster to do business with, and then being flexible to meet the needs of farmers out there. So it's a big deal for us. You could even say we're playing catch up just a little bit. A lot of folks have had online applications, but we feel like we've taken our time and done it right, and really excited to be able to offer that.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about what you see happening in the equipment business right now. So you're obviously an equipment lending company, so you're seeing all these different things that are happening out there. I guess as you take a look across the landscape right now, what are some of the things you're seeing that are shocking to you, and what are some of the things you see that are like, I kind of expected this to happen?
Their opinions of different people, just like you and I are talking today. Mm-hmm. I watch closely what Purdue University puts out. They put out a monthly kind of forecast they talk to 400 farmers every month and see what their buying intentions are. If you look at that of December of 20 to January of 21, it was at an all-time high. Yep. And AgDirect had its best year ever in 21. I'm guessing that, Casey, that's what you saw in your world. And I'm sure many of our dealer listeners today had a record year or maybe one of their best. As you look at December of 21 into January of 22, that number has gone down. So the indication is that maybe customers, farmers, aren't as motivated right now to buy equipment as maybe it was a year ago, which kind of surprises me, just because there's been a lot of, I think, farm income, at least what we see in here, farm income made on the farm. Yeah. So again, Purdue talks to the same 400 farmers every month. And so maybe those 400, the majority of them all bought some 21, and they don't expect to do something in 22. We'll see. But we went into 22 thinking this would be a really good year. We knew there would be a shortage of equipment with the supply chain challenges. But our sense is, as we talk to dealers, that as the new equipment shows up, the used is already sold.
Right.
And on the farm, going to go from one farm to the next.
Yep.
Salesmen already have a place for it.
Yep.
And so it happens pretty quick. So I don't know. I'm not surprised that inventory is tight. We heard that coming. You can see it as you drive down the road or interstate, that you're hard pressed to find more than maybe 5 or 6 big tractors at a dealership, which is almost unheard of.
Right.
3 or 4 years ago. But that's the new normal, at least right now. I am a little surprised of just some of the producer sentiments out there that they're a little cautious if they're going to make any capital purchases this year. So we'll see how that plays.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot too. And to be honest with you, I've heard that a lot, and the actions are not following what they're saying. So it seems like there's plenty of guys out there that are looking to buy stuff. Now, all that being said, a lot of stuff that we thought the busyness that we feel is some residual stuff. We're just waiting for the new one to get here so we can get the used one sold type of thing, and those kind of things. So it's definitely a different atmosphere than we saw in 21 from the perspective of everyone knows kind of, they've all know what the new normal now is, so there's no one really, some people get mad, and their stuff isn't here, but for the most part, everyone's pretty understanding. That follow through into parts and those kind of things with availability and those kind of things are also starting to get better. They're definitely not as good as they were in 19 by any means, but they're getting better than they were in 21. So slowly but surely things are starting to kind of turn the corner a little bit, I think.
Well, that's great to hear. And I think we're going to see more people maybe take advantage of some of these low fixed rates. Now, we know that they're increasing a little bit, but they're still historically really low.
Yeah.
I got into lending back when I started to date myself, Casey, but back in 94, and my first loan officer job out of college. And we were making loans at 8.5%, 9%.
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're still, we're making loans now 3.5% to 4%.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, money is cheap.
Yep.
It's a great time to be upgrading equipment. But equipment doesn't get any cheaper. That's what's, I've seen just in my 16 years at AgDirect, in 05, you buy a new combine, be off a little bit, but maybe 250, 300,000 brand new combine. Now you're pushing, well, you could have $1 million combine package with two
heads and everything. Yeah. Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, the price of equipment hasn't gotten any cheaper. That's for sure. When you guys are looking at technology and how that figures into a purchase of a machine, how do you guys weigh that against a machine that are you looking at that financing of that technology on a standalone item kind of thing, or are you more focused with it as a package now?
That's a great question. So if it's on a tractor, sprayer, combine, what have you, we consider technology as part of the package. If it's an add-on, guy buys a planter, 10 years later, he just wants to upgrade it.
Yeah.
We'll finance the technology if we can finance the planter. We haven't been very aggressive in just financing standalone technology. We might do a little bit here and there, but that's moving so fast that we tend to say we want the whole asset.
Yeah.
But if farmers buying it, the technology with the major asset, we finance that or lease that. We do a fair amount of leasing. We have seen leasing. We've seen our leasing numbers stay the same as a percent of our overall volume. It's gone down a little bit, which isn't a surprise. We call that lease penetration, largely because there's been good farm income. And, there's the pride of ownership. I think most farmers will probably buy equipment if it cash flows. But I think as equipment gets more expensive, we've seen inputs go up. Cash flow is going to be king again.
Sure.
Can you make it work? We believe leasing is going to become more and more popular. And our most popular lease is what we call lease to own. And so that's a purchase or renew option, also a put, purchase upon termination for some listeners that do a lot of leasing. That is a lease to own, so you have a higher residual. AgDirect also offers walkaway leases, which is an FPO or fixed purchase option. That's where the customer puts on X amount of hours, and then they just turn it back in and buy or release something else. So we think particularly the lease to own, which has the higher residual, which makes lower payments, is going to get pretty popular again in the next 2 to 3 years as cash flows get a little tighter.
Yep.
But that's one of the things that AgDirect tries to be really good at is having products that fit the cash flow of the farmer.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, farmers are trying to make money, and cash flow is very important.
Yep. Farming is one of those, you don't know when you plant it what you're going to sell it for, and everything in between is the difference between you making money and not making money. So yeah, it's having those variable ways of capturing a percent here, 0.25% there, whatever it is. Next thing you know, it adds up to that efficiencies that you're looking for, and AgDirect does a good job of really laying out some good plans and some good opportunities for their customers.
Well, thank you. We do our best. We've got 24 territory managers across the country called on dealers that we consider experts. And so we're not just selling financing. We're selling ideas. We're selling, hopefully, value to the salespeople and any farmers we come in contact of. How can we help you be more profitable?
Yep.
Or a dealership, how can we help you get that piece of equipment sold that's maybe been on your lot for 6 months?
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Greg, it's been a great conversation. If folks want to reach out to get more information about AgDirect, what's the best way to do that?
Go to agdirect.com. You can see our rates. See our rates there. As I mentioned, we got an application there that you can apply. AgDirect offers financing, loans and leases for the biggest portion of our business is through the dealers. So you go to your dealer and ask for AgDirect, or if you use that application online, again, we'll send that over to the dealer. You can also use that application on a private party or auction. So I'd say there, Casey, start at agdirect.com and see what your options are. If you want to talk to AgDirect, you can call us toll-free at 888-525-9805. Also on that website, agdirect.com, if you scroll to the bottom, you can choose your state, and the territory manager that covers your state will pop up. You can certainly give them a call on their cell phone. But we appreciate everybody's business that help support AgDirect. We've kind of bragged, I don't know if bragging is the right word, but we've become the largest non-captive flitter in the country here a few years ago.
Well, cool.
And
on.
So we're really excited about that. It means we're doing people some good out there, and we'll continue to work hard to do that.
Right on. Well, I am Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you find the latest editions of the Moving Iron Podcast. Also go to MovingIronLLC.com for everything Moving Iron related. So with that, Greg, thanks for being on the podcast, man.
My pleasure. Thanks, Casey.
And I appreciate the partnership here with the Moving Iron Podcast.
We do too. So you take care. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, I'm Casey Seymour with Greg Roberg. Out. You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all of your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.